So welcome to Juice. You've received your package in the mail and you've got your device, also known as a mod, or sometimes referred to as a e-cigarette or an e-cig. So this is the box that it comes in, and the first thing we want to do is go ahead and open it. Let's cover what's actually in the box. So when you open the box, you'll want to take everything out. And this is what you've got. Some instructions. These can be helpful in the future, so I would hang on to them, just keep them in the box, but you won't need to go over those today. We'll make it simple. So you have your main device. You have your glass for your tank. You have your coil, and you'll notice in there they give you two coils to start with. It's also known as an atomizer. In the industry, we typically just refer to it as a coil. And then you've also got your cap. Your charging, we'll go over this in a separate video. Your band, protecting your tank, and the container that everything comes in. So we'll put this stuff aside. Right now we're going to be utilizing just what we see on the screen here today. Okay, now that we've covered everything that's included in the box that we're going to be using to put your device together, first I just want to say, if you've made it this far and this is your first time using a vaping device or a mod, congratulations to you. Just know that as long as you stick with it, there is always a e-liquid and setup and juice that works for everyone related to stopping smoking. So congrats on getting this far. So let's cover putting your device together. It's really straightforward, but the first thing we always want to do is we always want to what we call prime your coil. And you'll notice inside there's white, and that's cotton. So think of it as a wick in maybe an oil lamp. So if you light an oil lamp, you light the wick, but there's not a bunch of oil in the lamp, it'll burn the actual wick, and we don't want that to occur. So oftentimes you always want to start with priming your coil, and you only have to do this the first time you put a coil in. And every time you put a new coil in. You'll want to change your coil roughly every 2 to 3 weeks or so, depending on how often or how much you vape. So what I typically do is I grab a napkin just to be safe. You'll grab, I'm just going to use my big bottle of juice, and you're going to want to prime each of these 4 little spots, and we'll kind of go around 3 times doing that. Let me show you what that looks like. So you take your cap off, and if you have an eyedropper, use the eyedropper, but you're just going to drop a little bit in each of these holes and let it soak in. A little bit, all the way around. And we just let it soak in for a second. That's our first time around. Oops, little drip there. And we're going to go again. So just a little drop, a little drop, a little drop, and a little drop. And you'll see why it's helpful to have the napkin there, so you don't make a mess. And one more time. Drop, let it soak. Drop, let it soak. Drop, let it soak. And one more. So what I typically do is I set this aside, and we'll move to the next step. So now we're going to want to put your device components together. So first I want to point out on your coil, you'll notice there's a little white band that goes around here. Sometimes in shipping, these can wiggle off. You want to make sure that that's on there. That's crucial for making sure that your device doesn't leak. So it's part of the process. Same thing goes for the bushings up on top. So it should look exactly like that. White one on the bottom, black one's at the top. Okay, so let's put your device together here. You're going to take your main component, You're going to take your coil. Again, you're making sure your bushings are on there. You got a white one down here at the bottom and black ones here at the top. We're going to take the black portion with the little metal extrusion at the bottom. That's what connects to the battery connection below. Put that part down, and we carefully, making sure we're not cross-threading anything, screw this in all the way until it's tight at the bottom. Okay? Next, we're going to take your glass. This is what makes up your tank. And we're going to want to seat it over the top and over this rubber red bushing at the bottom. Want to be very careful when we're doing this. We kind of twist and push at the same time until it seeds down at the bottom. Sometimes it's a little difficult, so you just want to do it. What you want to be careful, you don't want to pinch this bushing and cut it. It will make your tank leak, so you want to be careful doing that. So seat it all the way down flush like we've done here. Next, we take our cap. There's two parts to it. One is your top and your mouthpiece that you vape with. The other is the top of your tank. So we're going to take this part and we're going to screw it over the top of your coil. And we want to be very careful here so we don't cross thread things. It's got to be just right. So we want to put pressure and twist while keeping it flat. We screw it right down. You got to get it just right. So sometimes, the first few times you do this, it can be a little bit frustrating because it's a brand new device and everything hasn't been used before. So we want to screw just right. Again, it may take a couple tries. And there you go. Square, straight, and sealed. Don't want to go too tight. You want to make sure it's snug, but you don't want to make it so tight that it's difficult to get off when you need to change your coil. Okay? So we've primed our coil. We've put everything back together. The next thing we want to do is fill your tank. So you're going to grab your bottle of juice. I'm going to use my big bottle. Okay, real quick at this point, I want to cover one important thing about filling your tank. Do not put anything down the center hole. You're filling from the side with these half moons here around the side. You're going to insert, whether you're using a dropper or a large bottle, you put it on the side, not down the center. You're basically going to fill it just till it comes to the top of the cap here. Don't want to overflow. Next, you want to take your cap, lightly screw it on the top. This will make sure nothing leaks, and it's also what you vape through. Here's your band or tank protector. You can stick that around. What you don't want to do is break this glass. So if it falls over, or you drop it, or it's in your pocket, this will ensure that it's a little more difficult to break that. You just slip it over and put it around your glass. Again, it's for making sure you're not breaking anything. Okay. And that's how you fill and set up your tank.